Hi friends and welcome to Sunday. It's Tracy's Sunday Challenge and I'm so excited to be here with you today. Although not live, I'm away with my family this weekend, but I'm so excited to bring you this video. So this week's theme for our challenge is mini catalogue. Let me bring the mini catalogue in. It's packed full of wonderful products. I have chosen one of the products in here. It's a bundle. So let me quickly show you. Rainbow of Happiness. So fun. This is a bundle, so you get 10% off when you purchase the stamp and the dies together. And I highly recommend, if you can get bundles, purchase them in the bundle. You're going to save yourself a ton of money. So really great stamp set, photopolymer, and a great die set. And this is what we're using today. Let me show you the other product that I'm pairing it with. It is from the Sale A Bration Catalogue. It's called Sunshine and Rainbows. Works perfectly with this bundle. It's a free Sale A Bration paper, 48 sheets of 6x6, and the colors and the patterns are absolutely amazing. This is so popular and I'm so excited to be bringing today's card to you because it's a real beauty. So really beautiful, fun, bright, beautiful colors. There's also some more toned down colors in there as well. But yeah, let me show you the card that we're creating, so you know exactly what we're talking about. It is a fun fold. It is a diorama card using both the bundle and that Sale A Bration DSP. Let's open it up. And look at that. It's a diorama. How cool is that? Showing off that beautiful DSP in the back. We have a little rainbow, beautiful design on the side. And we close it up. Folds into an envelope perfectly, and yeah, how cool is this? All right, so let me bring in the products that we're using. I have everything pretty much ready to go. To start off, we have a piece of basic white thick cardstock. Now, just before we get into it, all the measurements and supplies are in the description of this video. You can also head over to my blog post. There is a link to that blog post in the description of the video here as well. That will take you over to my blog and has all the information, all the products that I've used, clickable links if you would like to purchase them, and more photos as well. So go over and check those out. So thick basic white cardstock, we're going to bring our paper trimmer in. Now this piece measures 11 1/4 by 5 7/8. We're going to do a few score lines to create that diorama card. The first one is going to be at 3 5/8. Let's find that one. Making sure that we're scoring, not cutting. And open my folder up as well, or the arm, sorry. So 3 5/8, 6 7/8, 7 1/4, 10 1/2. Don't forget, all the measurements will be over on my blog and in the description as well, and 10 7/8. Perfect. Alrighty. Move that away. I'm going to fold and score with my bone folder on all those score lines. I would highly recommend using the thick basic white. I would not recommend using the regular basic white to make the card base. If you don't have the thick basic white, please consider using one of our coloured cardstocks, as the regular will just not hold it together enough. Okay. So all these score holds actually create that pop-up diorama feature. I'm going to open it up. You have that fold. Alrighty, let me bring the card in. Before we pop the pieces together, we do need to create our circle here, and I'm using the layering circle dies here. We're going to need our fourth largest circle, so 1 2 3 4, fourth largest circle, but we're also going to need our scalloped one as well, and that's the third largest, so this one here. And those two will nest in perfectly together. You could use other shapes. If you have shapes that go up and down in size, you could use those as well. Alrighty, so our plain circle, what we're going to do is we're going to add it into the center here on this piece. So there are 2 score lines here on this left side, a larger piece, and then one skinny score line. We're going to pop this in the middle and run it through our cut and emboss machine. I'm going to bring that in so we can do our die cutting. I think I might grab my other plates. Use my newer plates. This way instead. So I'm just lining that up in the middle. Placing number 3 plate over the top, and I'm just going to run that through. And that gives us our little circle there. Perfect. Alrighty, we do have a little bit more die cutting to do. So I have a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock in my stash, and I've already pre-cut that scallop. What I want to do is I want to bring that circle that we've just cut out of our card base, and we're just going to line that up in the middle. So this is Bermuda Bay cardstock. I've used the 3rd largest scallop in the layering circle dies, and this is the 4th largest circle die. I'm just going to cut that one out really quick. And you can use that centerpiece on another card. We're actually just using our frame for our card today. The next piece that we're going to cut out is going to be from the die set. We need a yellow sunshine or rainbow edging. And what's really great is this set has some wonderful dies in it. This is the one that we're going to use here. It is an edging die. So I have a piece of, just a scrap actually piece that I've grabbed out of my scrap bin. This is So Saffron. Sorry, my mind went blank then. So I'm going to line that up and run that one through. And this just creates a little bit of interest on the inside of our card. You could probably get away with it if you didn't want to add it, but I think it looks really good. And we're just going to take those edges off. I'm going to snip those. Perfect. And that leaves lots of these little confetti pieces. So if you'd like, you could put these aside, put them in a bag and use it as confetti. Or you could use them as little mini rainbows as well. That would look really cool. Moving on to the next piece that we're going to die cut. We have so in this DSP pack there is quite a few different rainbows, but there is one piece. There we go. These big rainbows here. What I've done is I've just fussy cut one out. I've grabbed some of these adhesive foam sheets that we sell in the catalogue, and they are linked below if you would like to get these. These are big dimensionals that aren't cut up, so these are really good to have in your stash to make some fun pop-up featured cards. And then I have a piece of the basic white thick cardstock on the back as well. So what we're going to do is I want to take off the backing and add my DSP piece to it. And I've just fussy cut round these adhesive foam sheets to fit that down. There we go. And then we're going to take the backing off that one and add it to the thick basic white. Perfect. All right, so we have it all ready to go. And this is going to cut out using one of those dies in our set. So I'm just going to run this one through as well. And even with that extra pop-up, it'll be fine. We may have to go through a couple of times just because there is lots of layers there. We want to make sure that it's really well cut out. Let's see. So I did do a bit of a boo-boo. Let me show you. Because there was some of that adhesive back sheeting that's now not covered with backing tape, is attached to my plate. So give me a second while I just free that and the die from my cutting plate. Didn't get stuck down too much. There we go. And what we want to do is we just want to take this apart. Okay, so we take this off really gently. We have our full rainbow. We want to take that middle piece from the center. And I like that it has the white in between each one. It's all in one sheet, but it will be able to be stuck down together. You can pull it apart if you want. I want it to stay together. Alrighty. Now I think the only other thing which I have pre-die cut previously was I've cut out 3 of our little clouds, and that is also, there's clouds in those dies. And there's actually 4 different clouds that you could use. So I've just pre-cut those ones out a little bit earlier. Okay, now we can start with our stamping. So this card's, you know, a little bit in depth, but it's a really beautiful card and it's really worthwhile creating it. So I've just brought in all my pieces. I do have, for our front sheet, our front sentiment piece, a bigger piece of So Saffron and Basic White. This is where we're going to do our stamping. I've also got a piece of Granny Apple Green and just a scrap piece of Basic White that we're going to do our stamping of our sentiment. So I'm going to work on those things first. We'll layer all the front together and then we'll work inside the card. So starting off with our piece of Basic White, we're going to create our own rainbow. And let me show you the colours that we're using. These are fun colours. We have Pool Party, Granny Apple Green, Bermuda Bay, Melon Mumbo, and So Saffron. So we're starting off with the So Saffron, and with that stamp set, there is actually quite a few different rainbows that you could use. I've used everyone except for that very small one. I just stuck with the 3 stamps of rainbows. So that's what we're going to go with. So I have the largest rainbow. We're going to stamp in So Saffron. Popping him down, trying to lay him centered as well. Perfect. Then we're going to move to that second largest and we're going to stamp that in Melon Mumbo. You can change these colours around. I've just gone with the colours that were in that DSP in the background. I like to stick with trying to coordinate them all together. Awesome. Then we're going to bring Pool Party in and we're going to do a great little technique. So in this stamp set there is that second smallest rainbow, and then there's this one here that creates little lines in there. So we're going to stamp second smallest in Pool Party, and then we can come back in with Bermuda Bay and create that special effect using that stamp. Go over the top. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Nice, bright, happy. We're going to stamp our sentiment in Granny Apple Green, and I've used the You Make Me Happy. We're also using that on the center of the card or inside the card as well. So I want to just stamp that down there. Perfect. And we're going to cut this down to a little bit smaller piece. I got a little bit of melon mumbo there on my piece, but it'll be covered so it won't matter too much. All right, so let's start layering our pieces together. I'm going to use some liquid adhesive. This basic white piece will go to the very edges of the So Saffron, but it will leave a border on the top and the bottom. So we just want to make sure that that top and bottom border is even. Doesn't that look good with the So Saffron in the background? I like it. We're going to bring in our Granny Apple Green, and we're going to pop this one up onto over our rainbow. So I'm going to use some dimensionals for that one. And add a few down. This is going to hold up our sentiment, so you want to put a few on there. I think I'm going to get away with 5. You want it to be sturdy as it's going in for postage. There we go. So we can pop that down. I also need to find my 3 little clouds. We're going to glue 2 down and pop 1 up. Okay. That's good. I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in and cut this down to be a little bit smaller. Could probably even cut that down just a little bit more down the bottom. No, actually I'll leave it. So I think, let me just see. That measures 3/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to glue that straight down. I do want to take off a little bit on the ends. So it's not quite as long as the Granny Apple Green. All right, so I'm going to add some glue down here. Just like that. I couldn't find my 3rd cloud, so I just had to quickly die cut another cloud. So I've used Pool Party cardstock, and we're just going to glue 2 of those down. And I know clouds are not blue, but they wouldn't have white ones wouldn't have looked the same down on the white cardstock. And for our other one here, I'm just going to add a dimensional, and I probably should have grabbed my minis out for that. Let's add a 1/2 one down. Cute. All right, so if we bring in our card base, I'm going to add, we're just going to work on the front of our card for right now. We have a piece of So Saffron cardstock, piece of that DSP. All the measurements are in the description, so have a look at that. Look at how bright this crushed curry is. Love that. Such beautiful pieces of DSP. I think this DSP is a must-have my top one of Sale A Bration. All right, so I'm going to add this down with liquid adhesive to our front of our card. Leaving a nice little border of white around. And then we're going to pop this one up to the front of the card. I love that this actually folds into a normal envelope. And I don't think you'd even get away with having to put extra postage on. I think that would be fine. All right, so we're going to pop that down in the center. And my granny apple green just jots off a little bit off either side, so I'm just going to quickly come in and cut that down. Perfect. Alrighty. So now we can start working on the inside of our card. We have this piece of DSP that's going to go on the inside, and I have lots of dimensional backings. I just want to get rid of them. They keep sticking to my fingers. So what we want to do is we want to add that DSP piece into the center. I'm going to quickly do that with some liquid adhesive again, and this gives us that nice little view through the window of the clouds. As we see, so cute. And before we pop it all together, we've got some stamping on the inside of our card. So I'm stamping this sentiment, "You make me happy," which I've already stamped, so I'm just going to clean this off really quick, and then we're going to stamp it with Melon Mumbo. So I'm going to stamp that in the middle. And bringing Pool Party in, we're going to add just a few little raindrops. This just breaks up that white space. Really cute. All right, so that one's ready to go. We're going to add that die cut frame out of the Bermuda Bay. Oops, look at that. Let me get rid of that. Magenta madness on my fingers would be very bad for the card. So we have the Bermuda Bay little frame. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue around that. You want to be careful not to add too much. We don't want it seeping out and then gluing our card together. So just a little bit around the edges. I'm going to pop that down, and that inside circle measures the same as what we die cut our card base with. So it's a perfect fit. On the inside of our front of our card, we're going to layer these together. So we have the So Saffron die that we cut out, Melon Mumbo cardstock, and then a strip of this beautiful DSP. So I have all these pieces here. Let me get rid of these ink pads before we do some damage. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to layer these together. So I have the DSP, which is smaller than our Melon Mumbo. Going to layer that up on the edge. Like so. And then we can add glue to the rest of our die cut. And this is why I've done it along the edge, so we have an area to be able to glue down to that piece. So I can pop this on the side and add this down. And it's a little bit bigger, so we can just trim that down with our paper snips, just a little bit off the edge. And we're just going to use the liquid adhesive to pop it down inside our card. This actually adds a little bit of bulk, but I think if you don't pop something on this side, it's just going to look really plain. So I liked that it added just that little bit of extra brightness and sunshine. Okay. And lastly, we need to add a little bit of adhesive to that bottom tab, and that's what we're going to glue down. So with this tab down, it'll glue to the edge of that score line. So just like that. That way the card goes over the top, but when it opens up, you can squish to the side and it opens the diorama fold. So I'm actually going to bring in some tear and tape for that. Tear and tape is wonderful adhesive. The one tip I'm going to give you is making sure that you have it in the right spot before you press down, because it's not going to go anywhere once you press it down. So you want to be really, really careful with the tear and tape. Obviously, if you use the green glue, the multi-purpose liquid glue, you've got that little bit of wiggle room. So that might be your choice when creating. Okay, so I'm going to fold this down. I'm going to line that edge up with the edge of that score line. Perfect. As you can see, it folds down perfectly. You can push on this side and it gives you that pop-up. And then when you close it, it just pushes back down and is like a normal size card. Okay, so we're not finished. We're going to add our rainbow now that we've got our piece together. Here it is here. These pull apart, so you want to be careful. The reason I didn't want them to pull apart is I want to add all that there. I don't want to add any adhesive over the top of our rainbow because that'll get stuck down to our DSP. So what I'm going to do, because this is basic white thick cardstock, I'm just going to add adhesive down. We're going to add it down. So I've made sure that I haven't popped any off the back there. So cute. So this is a diorama fold card that is really quite easy to create. There's lots and lots of layers and processes. But you could keep it a lot more simpler than this if you don't want to add so much detail. I personally think that this is not too much. It is for someone special though. You're not going to make this for Joe Blow down the road. Now the other thing is too, is you could add some of those beautiful rhinestones. These silver and clear epoxy essentials. These have both silver and clear. They've got raindrops and diamonds and little circles. They would work on this card as well. I wanted it to be more happy than and rainbowy than showers, but I really love how this turned out. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's card. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you left me a comment. If you haven't hit subscribe, could you do that as well? And I would love if you'd come and joined in this week's challenge. So the theme again is mini catalogue, so you can choose anything in the mini catalogue, create your project, take a photo of it, and then come over to my Facebook page. There is a link in the description of this video. Go to the post, which should be pinned to the top of my page with the challenge, and then pop your photo of your card or project in that post. And we would love to see what you create. Everyone is welcome. You don't have to use all Stampin' Up products if you don't have them, and you can use previous Sale A Bration products if you don't have anything from the new Sale A Bration catalogue. Whatever you have would be really great. If you're in need of the supplies that I've used today, you could use my hostess code and shop in my online store. I would appreciate if you did. It helps me to bring these videos to you, and I would love to be your demonstrator. I love to look after my customers by giving them a handmade card every month, as well as a free bundle tutorial. Okay, I think I'm done. Thank you everyone for being here. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's card, and I'll be back next Thursday at 5 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So hopefully you'll come back and join me. Until then, have a wonderful day everyone. Bye bye.